We're doing it in this park. They won't want it in there, apparently, or something. So, we are... What's that? Yeah, go on, mate. I'm eating in the park, yeah? I ain't got a clue, I think... I don't really know the area, yeah. Cheers. No, I'll have a walk. No, I'm alright, mate, I'm alright. Yeah, I'm alright. So, I'm just meeting Sky News and I'm going to live stream it. Because, of course, I don't trust them. I think they'll cut and edit it. And this is going to be an interview because I believe the Darren Osborne terrorist trial is about to conclude. So I'm believing they reckon they'll get his verdict today as well. And that's mad, isn't it? Look, I was driving down the motorway, so they've said where to meet us. So we're going to do an interview in a park. We're just walking through some weird little market, a strange little place. But yeah, we'll live stream it so that we can see if they include the points I make about the fact that they've all lied. They've lied to the entire country, has been told, and the media and the state, the CPS, have tried to implicate me in this case. I've got no involvement in it. I've never messaged the man. He's got no... The opening of this case said, because my barrister went into the trial 2 days ago, the opening of this case said that Darren Osborne received social media messages from me. No, he didn't. He never has. That's actually a lie. You've lied in a Crown Court trial on a terrorist case. So, because of that, the knock-on effect of those lies have resulted in people threatening to murder my children. So, I hope, well, my solicitor will be issuing a statement today about it. But what I need to get to the bottom of is whether it was the Crown that said I direct messaged him on Twitter, or whether it was the media and certain journalists who took it upon themselves to add this in. So we'll find that out once we get the transcript from the trial. My barrister's gone in to request a transcript from the trial, but you can't get the transcript from the trial till the trial's over. So then we'll have the exact wording that was used by the prosecutor. Now, the implications for this are that if it was the CPS, if it was the state, if the state has lied, if the state have tried to implicate me in a terror trial with no evidence at all for what they've said, then that's quite big, because they've tried to defame me, to blacken my name, to tarnish me, everything they've done for 9 years anyway, but they've tried to slander me, and they've made sure, because most people just read headlines. So if you read the headline of The Sun, if you read the headline of the Metro, if you read the headline of The Independent, if you read the headline of Russia Today, those headlines told people that days before the attack, Tommy Robinson private messaged via Twitter the killer. No, I didn't. I never did. So, yeah. What do you want to do, lads? No, I'm alright, mate, I'm alright. Is that you?
Yep.
Hi, mate.
Hello, mate.
How's it going?
How are you? Kev.
Hi, Kev. This is Mark.
Hi, Mark. How are you, bro?
Alright.
Yeah, sound, brother. There's a lot of silverware you got on there.
Yeah,
Got to be a biker.
Yeah.
oh yeah. I thought they sent the Hells Angels to do our interview.
No, not Hells Angels, Vikings.
Vikings.
Not Hells
Oh, right.
Angels. Hells Angels at Fanny's.
Until there's 10 standing in front of you.
You're live.
I like the Hells Angels myself. We've got a clubhouse in Luton.
Yeah.
Good lads.
Yeah.
Great lads.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Do you skateboard?
I live in
I've got my skateboard, I've got my
Reading,
BMX.
so I've got Windsor and Wessex right in the middle of where I live. So my opinion different from yours.
Yeah, obviously. I'm a big Hells Angels fan.
We kind
Can
of
I
are.
ask, did you
There's a lot of our outlaws are big, aren't they? No?
Yeah.
A lot of clubs are big now. You must have watched Sons of Anarchy then.
We were going to see 69. We're kind of, well, because we think we're the best, don't we? They think they're the best, but we are.
When you say best,
69, that was the year I was born.
Categorise best.
I mean we can kick the shit out
Yeah,
of
is that what you mean?
Yeah, well, you know, we have to. Biggest, oldest. Yeah.
Mate,
All right. We got.
So if you was in court, yeah?
Yeah, I was, yeah.
You was in court the whole week.
Monday, Tuesday,
Okay,
Wednesday.
so the day that, so you was there for the opening of the case.
Yeah, that bench there.
So for that opening of the case, for that opening of the case, what was said about me?
They said they were going through the internet records of Osborne, and they said, we've looked at his 2 iPhones and iPad. and Tommy Robinson's name has appeared in many searches from Osborne in the days leading up to it, and he's read lots of your.
But what was said?
Read lots of your tweets as well.
What was said about me contacting him via social media?
What was said was that he opened up messages that had been sent by you.
Via social media. Did they mention social media?
It said accounts linked to you.
On social media?
Yes.
The exact word social media.
It was either email or Twitter.
Email or Twitter.
But but he followed it up with straight away saying there's no suggestion that Tommy Robinson or Jada Franson messaged him. Like there's no suggestion that you said, "Dear Mr. Osborne, blah blah blah."
So there's no suggestion that I messaged him directly.
It was said that.
But did he follow that up later in the day? He followed that up.
No, it was 2 days later.
2 days later. So once my barrister contacted the Attorney General and contacted the head of the CPS to say, "You've just opened up a court trial with a lie. You've just said that I've contacted them via social media." Because my barrister's gone in, and what they've said is that he was sent direct messages from my social media. He wasn't. He never was. I've never messaged him at all. Yeah. So then they corrected him 2 days later. So since they've corrected him, that's when media have started then backtracking. But the word Twitter. See what the CPS are saying is that we never said.
Can we save this for the camera?
Yeah, save it.
Right.
But
but just to be clear, there was searches of you. There was your material, so your Twitter stuff.
He probably also looked at Tesco's. Do you know what I mean?
I'm sure he did.
That's the same thing, isn't it?
But then they also said that it was emails, but the prosecutor did say there's no suggestion that this was written by you, Tommy Robinson, to Darren Osborne. It was more like a followers
thing. Mailing list from a company in Canada. But he only said that 2 days after. He only said,
yes.
As
far as I remember,
he's only clarified that once the headlines have gone around the world. Once the world's been.
I'm not sure.
No, I'm sure. Once the world's.
It's a bit weird to be on a skate park. You won't see.
I'm sure you filmed it a lot worse.
Why don't we sit on here?
Yeah,
Can we sit on there?
Yeah.
Okay,
Is that okay?
I just don't want to bin
Once
in the
you
back.
sit there, Tommy.
Can you squat round? Yeah, that's it.
Once they managed to implicate me in this trial, they then corrected everyone. 2 days later, there's no suggestion Tommy's messaged him. Really? So why have Russia Today? Why have The Sun? Why have Metro? Why have Sky News? Because I've got copies of what you said, and you said that I direct messaged him via Twitter. Sky News said on your article that I direct messaged him via Twitter. That's what's on your article. I've got screenshots.
Well,
yeah. Well, I never.
That's what was said in court.
Okay, great. So it's the CPS. It's actually the state that have lied, because it's absolute lies. Which the implications of that are. Once I get the transcripts,
we need to say something.
His trial will collapse. He'll have to have a retrial because they've lied to the jury. And if they've lied about that, what else they lied about?
You've been through your social media and your emails, have you? And you've
I've been
seen
through everything.
Emails that are linked to you and for any messages to him.
Yep, I've been through everything.
All right, hang on.
We are rolling.
Okay.
Just tell me a shot, yeah?
Can you do a dirty two?
Right, all the way, yeah?
Is that all right?
Yeah.
32, eh?
32.
What's that? You're going to kiss me, are you?
Don't start getting carried away now. You're going to start swapping spit in the shower or nothing.
Try a bit of biting.
Yeah, okay, we're rolling.
Okay. So Tommy, first of all, your reaction to the last week or so?
I'm gobsmacked. I'm absolutely shocked. I'm shocked at the state and the media. I'm shocked at what's been reported about me, and I'm shocked that they're allowed to report complete lies, which is what's happened, and the knock-on effect of these lies. I'm shocked that the Crown did not warn me about that they were going to use me in the opening of their prosecution on a terrorist trial. They should have warned me. Since this, I've had death threats. I've had threats to murder my children, to murder my wife, and all of this has come from lies. And that can all be proven.
Are you saying that you didn't send any messages, either through mailing lists or otherwise, to Darren Osborne?
What I'm saying is, what's been said in court, and the headlines, and exactly what your media reported, exactly what the BBC reported, exactly what every single media across the whole country and world has reported, was that I was sending direct messages via social media to Darren Osborne. That is a complete lie. That's a complete lie.
But you did do that via email?
No, I didn't do that via email. I've never sent Darren Osborne an email or anything.
Are you 100% sure then that their records are wrong and you didn't maybe through a mailing list
No.
or some
Yeah,
some
I
other-
haven't sent anything. So
But you may have done through a mailing list?
No, I haven't sent anything. Yeah. Basically, Darren Osborne is one of them, upwards of nearly 1 million people on a mailing list for Rebel Media. Rebel Media are a company that I work for. It's like Sky News sending an email list to all your people you think, and then them accusing you in court.
Well, no, I don't think that was ever the case in court. I've been in there the whole time, and they made clear this is never a case of you, Tommy Robinson, writing an email to Darren Osborne, dear Darren Osborne. This was a case of him possibly being on a mailing list.
Okay, so
Twitter
tell me
or
this.
through email.
So who's lying then? Because if I give you the headline, days before killer attacks, days before alleged killer attacks, Tommy Robinson sends direct Twitter messages to him. Who's made that up?
So
if you've been in court, who has made this up?
Is it the Twitter messages that you're not happy with then?
I'm not
Because
happy.
you're not saying anything about the emails.
I'm not happy with social media, the comments of social media. That someone being on a mailing list for a company in Canada is very different to Tommy Robinson sending personal messages. Now, what the state have tried to do and what the media have tried to do is you've tried to make it look like Tommy Robinson has radicalised somehow this man. The fact that 5 people were killed in the Westminster Bridge attack and 48 were injured, 8 people were killed in the London Bridge attack and 49 were injured, 22 people were murdered including children and 512 people were injured, all within a space of 5 or 6 weeks, which is what this man witnessed. How are the mainstream media and the government and the police, how is this landing on my doorstep? How has that happened? How is no one talking about any of the terrorist attacks that would have been the focus of why this man done it? All you're trying to get at, and have you actually read the email that was sent from the company from my company in Canada? The email was about a young girl, right? One of them was about a young girl who got raped by Syrian refugees, and it was asking for help to get her a lawyer. The other one was about facts. Again, I know people don't like facts, but they were facts. I know the journalists, I know the fake news media don't like facts, but the facts were about the Didsbury Mosque. Now, the British public across the country are following everything that's going on, and all that's happened this week is everyone knows I've not direct messaged him on Twitter. Everyone has seen what the media have done, what the state have done. Everyone has seen this massive attempt to blacken my name, to tarnish me, and to have me killed. Because currently now there's a police guard outside a house about 10 miles from here. It's not even my house, it's my old house. The poor family in that house have got police protection outside their home because of these lies in court. This is a terrorist trial. How is there no integrity in the prosecution or the state or the journalists to report facts or the truth? This whole...
Well, listen, I can't speak for the prosecutors here, but I can only speak for journalists. I've been in court all week, and we've only been reporting what's been said to us. The opening was obviously the opening statement. It was
social media.
It was vague. It wasn't particularly precise, but it was the day after when we found out about the difference between the emails and the Twitter messages. But I think we've discovered here that you're saying that you absolutely did not send any messages, even via mailing lists, on Twitter. But you may have done, and you're pretty certain you did by the mailing list through email. Is that what you're saying?
I'm certain that Rebel Media sent an email mailing list, to 1 million people. Yeah. And so that's not me, that's not me, but the way it's been portrayed and the wording, and still, do you know what the quotes are? The quotes in The Independent were suspect messages sent by Tommy Robinson. Suspect messages. What are you on about? Suspect messages. What this has been is a complete onslaught against me, somehow to try and implicate me and involve me in this case, which I've got nothing to do with. I've got nothing at all to do with this case. Every single opportunity I've had, after every single high-profile thing, I call for no trouble, I call for no violence. I always say violence is not the answer, all the time. Yeah? But no one reports that. All you've tried to do, I've watched what's tried to do, all the media have tried to do, and if what you're saying is all you've reported is what's been said in court, because Sky News actually reported that I sent Twitter direct messages to him. If that is the state that have said that in court, then this has massive implications for me. My life's in danger. My life's in danger. They know I live under constant terror threat. The government give me Osborne warnings. The police give me Osborne warnings. Only 2 months ago, I had the police come in and waking my family up to tell me that I'm on a hit list to be killed. Yeah, and they don't even warn me that they're going to open up a murder trial and a terror trial with my name.
What are you going to do about this?
My solicitor is going to issue a statement this afternoon, and we are going to go after everyone legally who has put my life in danger through complete misrepresentation of the truth, which is, I don't understand how they can. I'm baffled. Do you know what? I've put up with this for 9 years from the media. I've put up with it, and I've put up with it, and I've put up with it. I've read lie after lie after lie after lie from yous, and I've just let it go. And the point comes when now, because of your lies, my children, if you know how difficult it is as a father to sit and read messages saying, I'm going to stab his children to death, I'm going to murder his wife. It's gut wrenching, and all of that's come from the lies, and it can't be legal. It can't be legal what's happened this week. It can't be.
You've had this for years. Is this one of the worst it's been for you?
The fact that the state have done this, the fact that the CPS have lied, if that is the fact, I can't, until we get the transcripts from court, my barrister's gone in to try and get the transcripts, we can't get until the case is over. Once I get those transcripts, I find out exactly who's made this lie. Whether it was the CPS and the state, or whether certain journalists in that court have took it upon themselves to add words and add things into the thing, then I know who I've got the problem with. But, I have to follow this up because it's gone on for so long. It's not the truth. Like, as journalists, you want to report the truth, don't you?
Absolutely. On that basis, then.
Absolutely. You said that with a straight face.
That's the best one I've heard all week. That's better than my jokes.
Let's take the messages aside then.
Yep.
Let's say that you didn't send any messages
Yep.
at all,
Yep.
whether through Twitter or through email. Some of the things in court that we learned that he'd been reading and watching were some of your posts. For example, after the Manchester Arena attack, he is said to have read a message from you to his followers saying, "There is a nation within a nation forming just beneath the surface of the UK. It is a nation built on hatred, violence and Islam." And then 2 days before the attack, where was the day of rage after the terrorist attacks? All I saw was lighting candles.
This is great.
Do you not feel,
I'm so glad
do you not feel any responsibility for his actions?
I'm so glad you brought that up, because what you've taken out of that, what you've missed in that. You see, there has been a day of rage. You haven't took out the leaflet. There was a leaflet from far left organisations, government-supported organisations in our country, who were calling for a day of rage. People were coming out for a massive day of rage against America, against Donald Trump. They were coming out and inciting violence and riots on our street. I quoted the leaflet, and then I said, well, where was our day of rage? We didn't have a day of rage. We lit candles and we said prayers. Yeah?
Do you think that Darren Osborne would have understood the context of that? Do you think
he'd have seen the leaflet? He'd have seen, what you haven't done is put that into context. You haven't said that on that message is a leaflet about a day of rage and violence from far left organisations. You've cut that out, and you see there is a nation building within a nation. So
you stand by the words then, and do you not feel that Darren Osborne may have misconstrued what you're saying?
The British public are fully aware there's a nation building within the nation. Everyone knows that now. As I've just gone through you, 22 dead in Manchester, 512 injured, Westminster attack, 49 injured, 5 dead, London Bridge, 8 dead. That was all within 5 or 6 weeks. We've had 12 terrorist attacks stopped, massive terrorist attacks stopped in the last 12 months. There's a nation building within a nation. There's zero integration, okay, and people are desperate and scared. That's the reality. The British public are scared, they're worried, they're fearful, and nothing is being done to address that. Nothing at all.
So after the, I think it was the
Low battery mode.
here you go. After the actual Finsbury Park attack,
Yep.
you tweeted, "The mosque where the attack happened tonight has a long history of creating terrorists and radical jihadists and promoting hate and segregation. I'm not justifying it. I've said many times, if government or police don't sort these centres of hate, they will create monsters as seen tonight."
Yep.
And we've seen in videos
I've warned about this for 10 years.
And we know from Darren Osborne, what we heard in court from Darren Osborne's internet history, that he has read these messages. We've also seen a video from you that said...
You see what's hilarious is happening here, yeah? Is you're not even talking about the fact there was 3 terrorist attacks. Jihadists...
We have.
No, you're not.
Tommy,
you're trying to put this on me telling the truth and giving you facts.
Listen, in all the reporting that we've done on this case, Darren Osborne, we have said, this comes after.
This comes after women were sitting eating food in London, and Muslims come up behind them and stuck knives in their throats and killed them. Okay, you're not going into young children were butchered in massive numbers, 22 dead. Okay, at children's concert.
Everyone knows that. That's very much on.
But you're not talking about that. What you want to talk about is the fact that I said, do you know at that time? Do you know at the time of the Finsbury Park mosque attack? I went on with Piers Morgan, and I tried to give a name. In fact, I did give the name. I gave the name of Mohammed, and I said, do you know who runs the Finsbury Park mosque now? Do you know who's involved in running it? And I was shouted down and shouted down and shouted down. And about 2 months ago, the Times done a big exclusive. Oh, look who's involved with the Finsbury Park mosque, and it's a terrorist from Hamas. Yeah, and he was involved and in charge of that mosque at the time of that attack.
Did they deserve this?
No, of course they didn't. No, innocent people do not deserve to be run over walking down the street. Come on, that's a stupid question.
When it happened, where were you and what did you think? Did you?
Where do you think I was? In the van with Darren Osborne.
Did you at any point when you read the news reports, did you feel in any way responsible?
No, I felt that why is no one listening? If you go back to speeches I gave, I said 5 years ago, English people are going to end up blowing themselves up unless you address the situation. That's not what I'm asking to happen. I'm doing everything I can to prevent civil disorder, civil conflict and murder on our streets. But the reality is the countries, the British public are fully aware now of what's happening, of how the government are allowing it to happen. All of this, we still have currently now 22,000 Muslims on a terror watch list walking around our country.
So do you think this attack was inevitable?
Do you?
I'm not asking you. I'm asking you.
These sort of attacks, unfortunately...
So I'll ask you that again. Do you think this attack was inevitable?
Unfortunately, then this is what breeds. So when you keep getting terrorists... If you look at the situation in Northern Ireland, let's play it on Northern Ireland. When the IRA were doing 3 bombings a day, the UDA formed. Yeah? Our country's letting this happen. Our government's letting this happen. When we're getting attacked left, right and centre, when girls are getting dragged off the streets and groomed in every single town across this country, okay, what are people going to do? I don't see eventually where they're pushing this, and that's being purposely allowed to happen.
Can I just play you something? This was I'd like to know, I'll ask you actually, because this is a fake news free environment.
How is it?
Can you tell me
what are you doing here?
You're a comedian as well.
What are you doing here?
Are you working at the Apollo tonight?
Can you tell me when you posted this?
Yep.
This video.
Oh, and you've cut. I already know what you're going to show me, and you're going to have cut out. Go on, get here, because this is great. Because you're going to show me standing outside the mosque saying that there's enemy combatants living in these houses.
No.
No, damn it.
No.
Is that your favourite one? Is it?
Well, it is because it's taken out of context. Because you don't.
Okay. Just should be able to pick the sound up on this.
Okay.
I'm just going to try and make sure the camera can hear.
Yep.
I've said time and time again, if we don't get this issue dealt with, and the British public will, they will end up taking matters into their own hands. Take Northern Ireland as a prime example. Militias will be set up, and the UK government will have a problem beyond their wildest dreams. Inaction will only facilitate the creation of a disgruntled, angry population who will end up cleaning out this Islamic problem.
Yep. Does that feel uncomfortable watching that now?
No, not at all. No, that's a warning. Look, I'm not asking people to do that. See, what you're trying to make it seem is that I'm saying let's get a militia. I've never said that. What I'm giving is, I've been proven right. I don't know why everyone said. What I've said is true, and this has proven what I've said is true.
Is this a self-fulfilling prophecy though, where someone like yourself, very very prominent figure, says that people are going to rise up, people are going to take matters into their own hands? The sort of language that we saw Darren Osborne using in the back of that police van. Is this a self-fulfilling prophecy that you've let happen?
I don't know what it means. No, it's a warning. It's a warning. Look,
a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's where you keep saying it over and over again. People are going to rise up. People are going to take matters into their own hands until eventually it does happen.
No, it's not. What is a warning? No one to talk the truth. That's the truth. The truth is, and the warning is, this is what's going to happen. Vulnerable young children out there right now, this is what's going to happen. Okay, that's what's going to happen as we progress further in the years. In the last 12 months, as I said, 12 terrorist attacks have been stopped. If you look what's happened over the last couple of years, whether it be the Blackham Theatre, whether it be Lyon with the lorry, whether it be Germany, whether it be all these massacres going on across Europe, that no one would have thought of that 5 years ago. Progress another 5 years of what's going to happen, okay, with Islamic jihad. That's what this is, Islamic war on us. What do you think is going to happen over the next 5 years? Now, the consequences of that are, and the reality is, and the point I was making, do you know the point when I made that video? I made that video because I tracked down Abu Halima. Abu Halima is one of our country's most radical, extremist, terrorist supporters who's on camera saying we'll kill all the gays when we get power, we'll murder everyone, we'll do this, we'll do that, okay? I tracked him down to see where our government have housed him. And I found him living next door to a primary school with our kids in it. This is the reality. That's not the government's children, because their children won't be in that school. Our children are in that school. Now you see, if my children were in that school, Abu Halima would not be living there. Okay, so that's the reality. When I say the British public, we have children, we have families, and we want protection, and we want to feel safe. Now, if the government fail, which they have failed. They're completely failing. They've done nothing. ISIS, they've allowed 2,000 British Muslims went to fight for ISIS. They've allowed half of them to come back. Some of them are walking around my hometown of Luton. Some of them are walking around my town.
When did you post that video? Do you remember?
No, I don't. That was posted straight after the Abu Halima video, which would have been just after Manchester attacks, the London attack.
So this is a prime time when, according to the court, Darren Osborne was in a process of radicalisation.
Again, what is mad, isn't it? What is mad is that what you're trying to get to, what you're trying to put from this, is rather than the terrorist attack radicalised him, me saying...
No. In court, they said that this was
So what are you...
three terror attacks and other things, including researching fake news websites.
Did they say in court that I radicalised him?
No, they didn't say that.
No,
But
so
they
what are
did
you
say
getting
that
at?
as
What are you
part-
trying to
as
do on
part
your...
of-
What is this on your news? What's this all about for your news? A big picture of me, big murder trial, do you feel responsible? That's what you want to do. That's what you're going to do. That's what it's insane. It's insane. It's insane if you have, do you have no integrity?
Well, listen, Tommy. Do you think that do you think it's important for if someone is mentioned more than once on multiple occasions? Your name was brought up in court on a very serious murder trial.
Of course it was.
Attack.
Of course it was. It was done on purpose.
Do you think it's not important to come and speak to you?
No,
not only to hear your view, but also to challenge you.
Okay,
Do you not think that's important?
No,
Would you not do that? You call yourself a journalist these days, right?
I've just told you that what they've said is lies. My name didn't need to be brought up in this court case. It's done on purpose. It's done on purpose so that you can run news pieces like this, the BBC can run news pieces like this, and they can try and implicate me and defame me and slander me to the whole entire country. When the reality is, you see the little video you're cutting? Why don't you cut the video where I said violence doesn't work? That no one should commit acts of terror. No one should give Muslim women abuse. Why don't you cut?
Do you think Mr. Osborne saw these videos?
Everyone saw those videos.
So you think he saw as much of your peaceful protest as your
That's
rise
my
up?
I didn't say rise up. I didn't say rise up.
You said take matters into your own hands.
I didn't say take matters
You
into.
said people will take matters into their own
Yeah,
hands.
no. Yeah, but I said take matters into your own hands. See, that's very different to people will take matters into their own hands.
Does it make you feel uncomfortable that things...
It makes me feel uncomfortable that you're dropping words to make it fit that I'm telling people to rise up and kill people. Do you know what I invited?
Does it not make you feel uncomfortable that Darren Osborne has quoted back things that you have said? For example, take matters into my own hands and don't look back in anger, which is a sneer on the Manchester attack.
When have I said don't look back in anger?
Apparently, according to what was said in court, Darren Osborne read a message from you that said don't look back in anger.
A lady sung a song of "Don't Look Back in Anger" after the Manchester terrorist attack. That you know that's where
I know what it's about.
You know where that comes from. Yeah. So and let me get something clear here. You know the email that he would have received from the email list from Rebel. Do you know what it was to invite all the people on? A silent walk. A silent walk. And you're trying to make it out. Look! You're trying to make out like it's like, come on, let's rise up and smash.
I'm not trying to make you look like you did this attack.
No,
I'm
the
just
media.
asking
No, you're trying. No, the media.
Whether or not
the media.
You feel in any way not responsible because you didn't drive the van, but do you feel in any way responsible for possibly pushing Darren Osborne on this path?
No. Do you know who should feel responsible? Didsbury Mosque. Other mosques. You see the radical hate centres that have been radicalising and hate preacher after hate preacher after hate preacher that made Salman Abedi the terrorist he is. That's who should feel responsible. And they're still open now, doing exactly the same right now. I have no responsibility in this, okay? I combat and tell the truth and make people aware of what's happening in our country. The government should feel responsible. They failed completely. They've allowed this nation within a nation to build. They've allowed terrorists to go fight and behead people in Syria and then come walk around my hometown of Luton. The British public realise that. They're watching that. People are scared. People are fearful. The British public are.
What do you think of Darren Osborne?
Has he been convicted and found guilty?
This isn't going to go out until the end of the trial.
So
we are. Please don't put. This can't go out, by the way.
No.
This can't go out until after the trial. If you're planning on putting that anywhere.
No. Okay. Well, that's live. So say hello.
It's live.
It's live.
Yeah.
Well, can you stop broadcasting?
Unlive it. No.
Do you know why it's live? So that when you do your little news piece and it's a little hit on me and it makes it look like this and that, people can watch back to see the conversation we had, and then you will be exposed as fake news.
We're going to have to end it.
Let's end it.
This is potentially contempt of court because we should.
Why?
You can't talk about a case. We're not going to broadcast anything until the end of this case.
Well, I haven't done that. You've come to question me.
You're broadcasting.
We're just broadcasting an interview with you. That's all we're doing.
Okay, well, if this ever goes to court, you can see we were unaware that this was being broadcast. Tommy, you're going to have to end it there.
I've been standing in front of you since it started.
How did I know you were meant to be doing it live? That's a real shame, Tommy, because we could get into some... Well, actually, you could get into some serious trouble from broadcasting this.
From broadcasting what? What exactly?
A conversation about a case that is ongoing.
A case that's
The
ongoing?
case hasn't finished yet. It's finishing this afternoon.
So why are you asking me what I think of Darren Osborne?
Because this is going out afterwards. You knew that.
Oh, right. So.
All right. Cheers.
Yeah, it's frozen.
Yep.
That's seriously serious stuff, mate.
Is it?
Yeah. Hang on. I wanted to ask you one more question. Can we do it without that?
Yep, Sam.
I heard you call yourself a journalist the other day. You should know that you can't You can't talk about a case. You can't broadcast anything about a case.
All I've done is answer the things that have been said about me in the case. I haven't spoken about Darren Osborne.
Actually, you know what? It might be alright.
I know you're right.
Because we didn't talk about guilt.
I haven't spoken about him or guilt or accused him of anything.
We did actually.
Who has? I said alleged. Because I'm a journalist. I said alleged killer. Yeah. Because I'm a journalist.
You've got an answer for everything, haven't you?
Well, no,
Mate, you wait till you get called up. You wait till the court calls you up. Contempt of court.
why would they
That
call?
could happen.
Yeah. Well, the court will then have to tell the whole country why they lied and why my family are living under death
I
threat.
get that, and you know, we're here as much to give you a voice as anything. But
Yeah, you're not here. You're here to stitch me up. That's what you're here,
I'm
bro.
here to challenge you. That's not the same as stitching up, but I will tell you, broadcasting that live.
I haven't mentioned. I have not mentioned one thing about Darren Osborne or that attack. I've not commented on it. What I've spoke about is that, which I've spoke about all before this trial. Yeah, I've spoke about the lies you've told about me. I've spoke about the reason, the multiple terrorist attacks, which everyone's talked about. Which, as you've just said, it's been brought up in court. People are saying that these terrorist attacks radicalised him and made him do it. So why would that be anything to do with a contempt of court? I haven't mentioned about him until you asked me that point. Then, what do you think of Darren Osborne? Which is what I said is, well, has he been convicted? I'm not going to comment on it unless he's been convicted. For that exact reason, I'm not going to say he's guilty because I don't know if he is guilty.
He actually said.
And I said
when you
alleged.
asked him about
If you
Darren
rewind this, I
he
said
actually
alleged killer.
He actually said I was a.
Even though, do you know why I said alleged killer? The Telegraph ran a headline saying Tommy Robinson messaged, Twitter direct messages, killer. The Telegraph's headline called him a killer.
I'm not talking about Telegraph.
No.
I'm just working this through, and it is a really dodgy situation we're in here, where we are talking about a case.
Mate, I've been in a dodgy situation all week. The whole country's been told I'm involved in this. You're here to.
You still live, by the way.
I am, yeah. You're here to involve me in a terrorist case.
Tommy, I've got a lot more to ask you, but we can't carry on if you're going to do this.
Mate, I don't trust you. So everything's live. I'm fed up of fake news and bullshit being said about me. So at least people can evaluate themselves when they watch this back. They'll know exactly what was said. They'll know the conversation we had.
It's a shame. We're kind of a grown-up conversation. I mean,
We can, it is grown up.
Okay, all right. Tommy, I'm going to have to say.
No problem. The Hells Angels know you don't like them.
Right.
Right, cheers, lads.
We love the Hills
Cheers.
Angels.
Let's go that way. How do we get back? No, I'm not going across. We'll walk around the road.
See you later, lad.
See you later.
When did the Vikings start? 69.
So little, look. I'll probably drop over this. Look, at least, I don't trust him. I don't trust any of them. I don't trust the whole agenda. I believe this has been done on purpose. I believe the state purposely involved me in this case when I had nothing to do with it. They've purposely done that so that the media will do this. So the media will run stories at the end of this trial that involve me when I'm not involved in the case at all. That's what they're going to do. That's the reason. That's what I believe is the reason for it. I believe he's here. Everything, see all the conversation we just had? All that's going to cut to is, do you feel responsible? And all they're going to cut to is that little video where they've cut out the context of it and it'll have me saying,